Can you resist the Geass? Now before I continue, I want to say that this is going to contain spoilers for the anime Code Geass, and I don't want to do that because in my opinion the anime is one of the best I've ever watched. So go watch the anime and then come back to this video. But if you don't care about spoilers or you've already watched the anime, there's a great question I feel like everybody has on their minds when watching this. Can you resist the Geass? First, let's define this power. The Geass is granted to someone by another being who has had it before. The one who's getting the Geass must agree to complete a contract by the bestower, and in doing this, the person acquires a power corresponding to what they want. When I say what they want, I mean corresponding to their deepest desires. Everybody has something that they want deeply but won't actually say it out loud, and that's what happens with the Geass. The Geass is something that manipulates a metaphysical object or thing, something intangible that still exists. For example, time. Rolo's Geass manipulates time, which exists but we can't touch it, because it's metaphysical. Lelouch's Geass manipulates will, and Charles's Geass manipulates memories. Again, these things exist but we can't touch them, because they're metaphysical. So we understand what the Geass actually does. But back to the task at hand, can you really resist the Geass? The answer to that question is yes, because we've seen it happen in the anime before. Let's look at 2 examples. 3, actually. Orange Boy, Nanoli, and Euphemia. First, let's look at Princess Euphemia. Now I know what you're thinking. High ground, she still ordered the death of the Japanese. While that may be true, she was still able to partially resist the Geass, and that's what I'm getting at. Even though she wasn't strong enough to completely say no to what the Geass wanted her to do, she was still able to partially, even for a brief moment, resist the Geass when talking to Suzaku and thinking about it on her own terms. That is what we are trying to realize. If your will is strong enough, there is resistance to Geass. Next, let's look at Nanoli. In that critical battle between Lelouch and Schneizel, Nanoli was tasked with launching the bombs that would kill both her allies and enemies. When she dropped the trigger on the floor, she was unable to actually see until she willed herself to see. Why does this matter? Because Nanoli was put under the effects of Geass that convinced her brain to make her think she was blind. Something changed in her to actually stop the effects of Geass, and this is proof that not only can you resist it, but completely say no to it if your will is strong enough. Now some people might say that there are different levels of Geass potency, so let's look at Nanoli for a little while longer. Even when Lelouch used his Geass on her, you could see clear resistance from Nanoli. She put her hand down, and she was fighting the urge to comply with Geass. This was one person. Then we move to Orange Boy / Jeremiah Gottwald, who literally had a device that could completely nullify the effects of Geass. This means, with hard evidence, with 3 characters from the show, there are ways to resist and nullify Geass effects. First of all, willpower is a major factor in who can resist this power. That being said, we know for certain that members of the Green Lantern Corps can resist the Geass. Let me explain. Green Lantern Corps members are chosen for their exceptional willpower. And I don't mean taking the BS from games where it doesn't give you hit confirm. No, I mean willpower as in drive to never give up. Willpower as in strong enough to manifest something into reality. The reason someone is chosen for the Green Lantern is because they are shown to have these bare minimum requirements. Someone who can literally bend reality to their will. So yes, Green Lanterns can most definitely resist the Geass, because their will is their weapon. That's not to say that they're immune to the Geass though. The Geass imposes an overwhelming desire on a person to comply. If that is stronger than the person's will to say no, then it will happen. So if you get rid of somebody's will to keep going, then the Geass will most definitely work on them. Let's look at Hal Jordan. Practically the face of Green Lanterns in DC, Hal Jordan is incredibly powerful. His willpower has allowed him to manifest incredible constructs. But that doesn't mean we can't weaken his willpower. If you could find the driving force of someone's will and show them that it's not worth continuing, then you would be able to weaken their power. For example, if somebody's living for their parents and their parents die, why would they want to continue? Obviously there are, certain cases, but most of the time it'll be weakened to the point where the Geass will not work on them. Or we could try Batman's Agamemnon contingency plan of hypnotic suggestion.
Agamemnon contingency. File code name 2814. The ring of a Green Lantern is the most powerful weapon in the universe, limited only by the imagination of the bearer. The ring cannot be separated from the wielder except in the event of their death, and the ring's natural defenses prevent direct attack. But in order to use the ring, The core member needs to be able to see what they are doing. While an attack on the eyes would be ill-advised due to the defenses of the ring, see Table 38B for full offensive lists and their attendant probabilities of success. Research indicates that a post-hypnotic suggestion could be planted into the Green Lantern's psyche, causing them to believe themselves blind. The ring would then make them blind, enforced by their own willpower. Must test out this theory on Guy Gardner.
Another person I think could resist the Geass is none other than the Prince of all two Saiyans himself, Vegeta. Vegeta's main quality throughout the anime is his pride. His pride is literally his driving force. Pride in his race, his family, but most importantly, his title. In the Majin Buu saga, Vegeta threw away all morals and let go of all chains just to rival Goku in power. To acquire power, he'd do anything, even kill innocent civilians. He goes to Babidi, an evil sorcerer, and is granted power in exchange for obedience to him. When it comes to the main event, however, Vegeta has something else planned. In arguably one of the best scenes in Dragon Ball, Vegeta is told to kill the Supreme Kai, but in a show of pride, Vegeta flat out says no, and uses his overwhelming power to resist Babidi. In this scene, Vegeta completely nullifies the mind control, simply because he doesn't want to do something. His pride, comparable to Green Lantern willpower, was enough to break free of that control. Again, same as last time, Vegeta could probably be susceptible to the Geass depending on what the task was. For example, if he was told to kill Frieza, the person that took his planet, people, and significance of title away from him, he'd do it in a heartbeat. But if you told him to kill Bulma, Trunks, or Bella, he'd resist the Geass. No doubt in my mind. Anyway, that's all for today's video. As you can see, I have a very consistent upload schedule, and you should expect another one in the next, let's say, 2 or 3 years. Otherwise, I'll catch you later. Bye.